So, Bioshock Infinite. What is up, guys? It's Awesome Bomb, and today I want to share my thoughts and my impressions on Bioshock Infinite. And I must say, I am quite impressed, honestly. Lately I've been hearing these, fucking people complaining a bit about the game. Uh, like, some people, said that the moment when Bioshock Infinite was launched, there were a lot of fucking people praising it and saying things like when you don't praise it, you're an idiot, right? And that kept on for a few months after the game released, and right now people seem to be on the opposite. They're like, oh, I don't know, Bioshock Infinite it was kind of meh, yeah, not really perfect. So I was kind of confused to what the fuck was happening. Suddenly people start to the people are starting to say that the game is not that good. But I don't know. I have my doubts, but I just went for it, and yeah. So I played the game. I finished it, and right now I want to share my thoughts on the gameplay, the story, and then I'm gonna end with the verdict, in which I tell you guys the score I would give it, and yeah, pretty much in short what I liked about it and what I didn't like, well, whatever. So I played the game on medium because I thought medium is okay, I guess is okay. I don't want to play it on easy because that would really be too easy, I think, and also not on hard because I don't feel like replaying some parts because of dying all the damn time. So I don't want to take any risks with that. So yeah, I played it on medium, and what I liked about the gameplay, especially the first thing what I liked, is that that you get a lot of freedom to move around. It's not like what with a open world sandbox game, but it's more like it's a linear game, but you have this feeling like you can just easily get from one place to the other without having issues or something like that. And especially the thing I like about this freedom is that you have you have this skyhook thing, and you can attach that to these I don't know, metal pipes or something like that, into the air. They are just placed right there in the air, and they just go around the city. And when you attach your skyhook that's in your hand, it's pretty fucking cool. You basically dang it, you hang on to that pipeline and you just go along with it, and it's pretty cool. I really like that skyhook thing. I mean, it's really easy to get on one of those and also to get off back on the ground. It's a cool little thing I really liked, and also the guns in this weapon are pretty cool. The guns in this weapon. What am I saying? The guns in the game. The guns in the game are pretty cool. They're all kind of unique in their own ways. I mean, they all have these unique features, and it's pretty cool. Most of them are based off of known weapons such as RPGs and machine guns, miniguns, shotguns. It's the kind of standard kind of thing, but they look somehow different and react kind of different, and I think it's pretty cool what they did with that. So yeah, the amount of guns, or the number of guns, is it's pretty cool, and how they are all unique. And one thing right here, I think frame rate in a shooter is the most important thing. In a first-person shooter, the frame rate is the most important thing, and I am glad that Bioshock Infinite had the option to have a non-fixed frame rate, because usually on consoles, that is, on last-gen consoles like PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, shooters usually have 30 frames per second. And although I've kind of gotten used to that, I also feel like it's time, especially with the next-gen consoles, it's time to move on to 60 frames per second. I mean, shooters in 30 frames per second, once you play a shooter on 60 frames per second for a while, 30 frames just feels lacking, and like it just feels very choppy for some reason. And in Bioshock Infinite, you actually get the option to have this non-fixed frame rate, which is like very variable. It changes from time to time, depends on where you look and like what happens on the screen. So basically, with that non-fixed frame rate, the graphics get downgraded a little bit, although you don't even notice it actually. And the frame rate starts to kind of be between 40 or actually 30 probably, but I'm not sure. 30 to 60 frames per second. I think it's more like 40 to 60, but I'm not sure. And yeah, I really like that. I mean, I prefer to have a frame rate that is like 30 to 60 instead of a constant 30 or even lower. I think I'm not even sure. It's 30 with a occasional frame rate drop. When you have a fixed frame rate, it's like 30 and occasional frame rate drop. And with a non-fixed frame rate, it's always above 30 with like very variable. It's like it's like really it changes a lot. Like sometimes it's 30, then it changes to like 50 or 40, then sometimes even 60, and then like it just changes all the damn time. But I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't really mind. I mean, I prefer to have such a higher frame rate than a constant 30. But when you like this is like the option in the game, and when you have this like fixed frame rate, but there's not. I mean, sorry. When you have a non-fixed frame rate, you actually get to see a lot of screen tearing as well, and like I don't know how to explain that screen tearing, but it's like you gotta look it up maybe. It is kind of annoying, but once you get used to it, you kind of overlook as well. It's like it's not that bad, honestly. I mean, it sure does look really bad when you first start playing it with screen tearing, but it's something just to get used to. And once you get used to it, you just don't see it anymore. You do see it, but you're like, well, whatever. Um, so the other thing I like about the gameplay is that like sometimes in the gameplay you have these like choices, like you have two choices to do something, and you have to make the choice real quick. Like for example. You're like waiting for your ticket from a guy like behind this glass or not a glass wall, like like they're sitting behind this like desk right here, and you're like getting tickets from you're supposed to get tickets from that guy, and he's like working it out, and you hear him talking on the phone, and he's like the main character in the game you're playing as is like wanted in the city you're in, and the guy talking on the phone, he apparently recognized your character, and he's like on the phone, he's talking like, yeah, we got him, we're gonna execute him in a minute, or something like that, and you're like you get two options, tell the guy to hurry up with the tickets, the guy on the phone to hurry up on the tickets, or you just aim your gun at him. Like you're like, okay, I'm not gonna take a risk on this guy, I'm just gonna go ahead and aim my gun and fuck it. So I mean, that's kind of cool. I like those kind of things, and there's a few of those like choices in the game that like you have to choose quick, and like it's a cool little thing. I really like that. And like also the game has really interesting enemies, honestly, talking about them. I've been really impressed by the enemies. Like, there's not a lot of them, but like the ones that are in there are pretty interesting, and like especially these stronger, like almost boss kind of enemies are pretty fucking cool. And then the other thing I really liked about the gameplay is you have these like vigors. You can kind of compare them to superpowers. Like, it's pretty interesting. You just shoot it with your left hand, I believe. You shoot these like powers or vigors as they're called, and like they do certain things. You have a few different types of like powers. I mostly used three of them, I believe, or two. I'm not even sure. Like one of those vigors, you like shoot electricity out of your hand, and then the enemy like gets stunned, and you can easily shoot them easier without like them shooting at you. So it's a little cool thing I really like about this game as well. And yeah, of course the visuals of this game are fucking nice. This game looks so good, even with the non-fixed frame rate and the I'm not sure how it's possible, but like the lower graphical quality. I mean, I don't even notice the difference between fixed frame rate and non-fixed frame rate when it comes to graphical quality. But the thing is, man, this game just looks so fucking nice, and especially the world you're in, it's just like it just looks so damn good. There's so many moments that you're gonna be just like stopping for a moment just to look around and see what the fuck's around you. I mean, this place is absolutely amazing. So there's not only good things about the game, obviously the gameplay. There's also some bad things I didn't really like, or just like felt like really. Um, so number one is that you can only pick, right? You can only have two guns equipped at the same time. So when you want a third gun, like you want a third gun to be in your possession as well, you have to swap one of your two guns in order to get that one. So I think that's kind of fucked up, but at the same time I do understand the choice they did there, the reason why they did that. I mean, obviously, if you had all the guns, you would be kind of overpowered because you would have like unlimited ammo pretty much. So yeah, it's interesting how I guess I really didn't like that. I mean, of course, you're gonna be really overpowered if you have access to all the guns, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I just felt like it wasn't a good thing. So whatever. I mean, it's okay though. I mean, like you have pretty much. It's like a way to try and get you to try and like I don't know. I'm not sure why. I don't know why, but whatever. So I mean, I guess it's a bad thing for me at least. I didn't really like that. So the second thing I really didn't like about the gameplay is talking about these superpowers again, the vigors. Like they ask a certain amount of energy from you. This energy is actually like called salt or something like that. Like you get when you get salt, you get this energy for the vigors. I mean, you can't use unlimited powers on these guys. You have to like you have this bar of energy which only fills up if you pick up salts in the world. And I don't know, man. I mean, I just felt like these vigors, like they take too much energy for one single attack. At least some of them do. I mean, some of them don't. For example, I believe the electricity one doesn't really take that much power, but like others, like for example, one where you can like possess one enemy, you just throw this like I don't know some kind of spirit or something towards the enemy, and that takes half of your fucking energy. It's like it's kind of ridiculous in that part, but I mean, I guess I don't know. That's kind of the reason why I didn't like to use the energy which the vigors that like took too much power from you. So I only had like used like two or three of those. So that's why I only used two or three out of like I don't know how many there are actually 8 to 10 or something like that. I don't know. And yeah, also another thing about the vigors is that some of those vigors are like obviously more powerful than the others, and that's also another reason why I didn't use some of the vigors and I did use some of the other vigors. Um, I mean, I guess you don't feel. For example, that possession one. I mean, sure, it's cool at first, but like once you get access to other vigors, you actually feel like the possession one is kind of not really useful anymore. So it's like kind of useless at some point. You don't even use it anymore. But whatever. And of course, yeah, I gotta mention this. I mean, this game is a linear game, as I said. It's not open world or sandbox. But the thing is, because of that, the gameplay sometimes feels kind of repetitive, and like it just feels like you're doing the same thing over and over. You keep killing bad guys for no good reason. I mean, there's a big part in the game, especially the first half of the game, where you get that feeling quite a lot, like you're just doing the same thing over and over. But in the second half of the game, the game kind of opens up, and like it doesn't feel as repetitive as it does in the first half. So yeah, I want to talk about the story real quick, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. So the thing about the story is that it is actually really fucking good. Like probably one of the best stories I've played in my gaming experience or gaming career, I would say. I'm not even sure. But yeah, I mean, this game, like the story is really, really good and really well thought of. I mean, like this fucking at first the story is not really that big of a thing. I mean, they're first trying to introduce you to the gameplay and like the world you are in, and then later on they're gonna open up the story for you so you can like kind of understand what's going on. But I mean, like this game has a really interesting story, and it really keeps you thinking when you're at the end of the game. Uh, like the game throws at the end of the game, it like throws a lot of information towards you, and at the end I kind of felt like I had to think about what happened in the like last 15 minutes or 30 minutes of the game, because there was like they gave you so much information at the end. It's like too much almost, and pretty much your mind is fucking blown by all the information you're getting, and you're like, what the fuck is going on anymore? And then the credits roll and you're like, okay, so what the fuck all just happened? And that is the thing I actually like about the story. Like, yeah, you think about it. Like, I usually don't have that with games. When I end the game, I'm just like, okay, fine, it's over. And with this game, I had more like, okay, so wait, let's backtrack and see what actually happened. And like, it's a really cool story, and like it's really well done. But at the same time, I also actually didn't really like what they did at the end. That they just gave you too much information. I mean, they should have balanced it like more over the second half of the game instead of giving you all this information at the end. I mean, it's just too much for most people. But yeah, I had to look up on the internet what the hell the ending all just meant, and like it was so much information. It just, I don't know, man. I just had to look up on the internet what the hell all happened. But yeah, I mean, this story is really good, and it's like probably one of the best stories I've ever witnessed in my gaming career. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing. So that brings me to the verdict of the game, and I have been thinking about giving this game a 9 out of 10, simply because the gameplay is solid. It's actually really good, and it's easy to get used to. The only really thing I didn't really like about it is that it was a bit too repetitive at times. And well, the vigor thing didn't really bother me that much, but it is still mentionable. The story is excellent. So yeah, this game actually really deserves a 9 out of 10. I was thinking about giving it a 8.5 out of 10 first, but then I was like, oh, fuck it, 9 out of 10 is better. So yeah, I guess that is the impressions video. If you have any more questions about the game, if you want to know anything specific about the game, ask me in the comment section. I will answer it as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Later.